put your hands together for our Frontiers of AI Research panel, led by MongoDB CIO, Deepa Gopinath.
Good evening, everyone. We're almost at the end of an amazing day of talking about AI. I hope you all are as excited as I am about this session, because we're living through a moment where AI systems sound intelligent, they look intelligent, and now they're starting to outperform humans. So whether that's actually intelligence or just a very good illusion, that is what we're going to debate about here with this esteemed panel of scientists, and I'll introduce them in a second here. So introducing Tengyu Ma, who is with the Voyage AI team at MongoDB. He is our chief AI scientist. And Douglas Eck, he's a senior research director at Google DeepMind. And Jian Tao, who's the director of AI and a distinguished scientist at NVIDIA. So what better forum than this group of esteemed scientists to debate this topic? So with that, I'd love to start us off with taking a step back in time about how each of you got into a career in AI in the first place. So let me start with, did you choose AI or did AI choose you? So Jian Tao, let me start with you. Was AI a deliberate career move, or did curiosity accidentally turn it into a full-time role for you?
Yeah, thanks, Deepa. I think for me, it's really not like a trigger, a single trigger, really like a sequence of curiosities that's really hard to ignore. Initially, I was really focusing on the mathematical science of information processing, trying to really understand how information flows in our brain, how it's being generated, how we produce new ideas. I guess it's really later the observation that abundant data, abundant compute, and also very smart algorithms combined together that's really able to produce really intelligent systems. I think that's really the time that's enhanced my conviction that I'm really going all in this direction.
That's awesome. Tengyu, what about you?
It started from my PhD, so I chose my advisor, who was a theoretical computer scientist, and he was thinking to find a new area. And that was like 2012, 2013, and we read this Alex Knight paper, which is this breakthrough paper, and we found that it was like a 40% or 45% in the last 10 years, and suddenly it becomes like 55%, something like that. I don't exactly remember. Now it's like 95, 97, or 99. So, and we thought this is a great idea, and we studied some of the mathematical aspects to start with, and then I just keep going.
That's awesome. And Doug, when we spoke earlier, you had this amazing story of how you ended up in AI, starting with an interest in music.
That's
so
correct.
Can you share?
Absolutely, yeah. So I knew I was going to do something in this field when I was 5 years old. And if you look at how old I am, you should probably be questioning that, because there wasn't a lot happening when I was 5 years old. Most of my career's work has been in AI and creativity. So looking mostly at music, and then now the video generation and image generation. And when I was 5, my next door neighbors had an old player piano that you'd push the foot pedals, and there was a paper roll, and it has holes in it. And I just was obsessed with this piece of machinery. And someone in my family brought this up later. They're like, Doug, you've cared about technology and the arts since you were this old. Like, we couldn't keep you. Can we go to Ed and Jean's house and see the player piano? And so somehow my career has like evolved around machinery, around technology, and then around the arts. AI chose me later. I tried to hold off and make it called machine learning, and no one listened to us. It finally got called AI. But really, the trajectory started when I was very young.
It's awesome. So keeping you in the hot seat for a bit, what would you say is the most overrated word in AI?
Yeah, I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I have problems with AGI. Not the concept. I really believe that we're climbing this hill towards intelligence. It's more the vagueness of the term and how it gives rise to different interpretations and different beliefs of the term. I think it's really important that we stay grounded in what's possible and not set something up on on the hill as a shining light that we think we can get to. Otherwise, we're not being scientists and we're not being engineers. But I want to stress, I believe these machines are intelligent and will get more intelligent, and they're very general. But I think the way the term AGI has been used has made it really difficult to have the right conversation, especially with the non-technical public.
That's interesting. So AGI has become both a destination and a distraction in some ways, where today's models are pointing towards general intelligence. So when people throw out AGI timelines, Jiantao, I'll ask you first. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What uncomfortable truth is usually being ignored there?
Yeah, I would say that I'm generally very bullish on AI development. I would say I also agree with Doug that the term AGI is more like a misnomer. Because indeed, it's really a collection of multiple capabilities that's really non-uniform. There will be certain capabilities like playing chess, playing Go, where AI is already so much better than human. And generally, if we're in an area where feedback is very cheap, there's abundant data, the environment is very clean, it's very easy to detect a mistake and correct a mistake, then AI is making really rapid progress, and it's really exceeding human capabilities. But the other areas like robotics, physical AI, where data is really very hard to get, expensive, the environment is messy, very difficult to get very clean feedback, then we actually are seeing not that fast progress. So what I would say is that maybe it's really not the right mental model to be thinking about a uniform capability that's moving forward as fast as possible. It's more about a frontier covering different set of capabilities, where indeed, I would say that if you ask a person 5 years ago, if they see what kind of things AI can do these days, they would have already said AGI has already arrived.
I agree.
So Doug or Tengyu, you want to make it spicier and debate that point with Jiantao?
I want to hear what you have to say about this. I'll jump in, but I want to hear.
Sure. I think it depends on the definition. I agree, right? So like for some definition and some areas, I think we already get AGI. Like if you define something like, for some tasks, you are better than average human who are not trained for that tasks. I think certainly the AIs can be better. In many cases, I feel like I need to, especially for some new areas I need to get into, like I'm here, the AI is here, and I need to solve the problem, I need to be there. So most of the work is to get to the same level as AI first, and then you go beyond AI to solve the question. Yeah, so maybe let me wrap up with the entertaining one to make it spicier. So I think there's on Poly Market there's there's a question which is something like will OpenAI announce they achieve AGI by 2029? At least I buy at like maybe 40% yes. That's my stance.
Doug?
And that has a clear definition. OpenAI needs to announce it, no matter what the definition is.
I mean, I don't know how spicy this is, but like, I think trained as a scientist, my timelines are naturally long because I want to have a hypothesis that can be tested. I want to see it happen. But like time and time again, I find that my timelines were too long. And I'm like, oh, wow, that happened faster than I thought. So maybe I should learn from that. I mean, look, those of us doing video generation, pretty much 2015, people are kind of saying, should we even bother trying to do high quality video generation? It's just too hard, right? And my joke has been, will I ever get in a Waymo and drive to Tahoe in a snowstorm? And maybe not for a snowstorm, but like, I'm revising that statement. We'll probably drive in Waymos to snowstorms in my lifetime. So I guess I'm a contradiction. I have long timelines, but I keep shortening them. The other thing I would say is it's a moving frontier. So like if you, in any technology, as you get used to the technology, you expect more from it. So our expectations move. I don't think there's an endpoint that we're going to be like, oh, we've definitively gotten AGI and we're done. Shut down the shops and serve our models and let's move on.
So we have a spectrum of conservative to super aggressive. Awesome. So Tengyu, let's shift to you for a minute. In your opinion, where are the foundational models actually delivering value today, beyond pilots, beyond press releases? What signals should technical leaders in this audience watch for to know when a breakthrough is real versus hype?
Yeah, I think statistically speaking, most of the people, when they claim breakthroughs, I think if you just don't consider the content, you just take a bet. It may most likely is a hype. Just because so many people are claiming they have breakthroughs, but breakthrough only happens once a year or maybe twice a year at most, maybe like and I think the way that I try to distinguish them is that there's the standard way, which is like you look at whether they have like solid evaluation, grounded kind of like evaluation. You look into their data set, their method, whether they provide enough details, so on and so forth. So the scientific type of evaluation. And another way is just that you wait for a little bit and you see how many people are examining it. And I think most of the hype is short-lived, and after 1 month, it's pretty obvious. Maybe it's 90% obvious whether it's really a breakthrough or not.
Yeah, and when we spoke earlier, you were telling me how, as an AI researcher, you tend to use AI as much as possible. So can you share with the audience why and what you do?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for reminding me. So that's another way for me to kind of like understand things. So I try to use AI as much as possible. So for example, all the Amazon orders I have, like, is actually ordered by AI with the Cloud Code Chrome extension. So I type up something like I want to buy this, and they will buy it for me. Even for my wife's birthday gift. So the way I'm thinking about it is that if
do you want to publicize that?
My wife knows that. Actually, I encourage him to do that for me as well. So the way I'm thinking about this is that if I buy myself or her, it takes 1 hour, let's say. And if I use AI, it probably takes even longer a little bit. It's not like it saves my time, but it's 2 birds in one with one stone, in the sense that I both test the AI capability, and also I do something useful for myself. And actually, if you think about it, right now, the number of messages I send or read from AI in all environments, work, like a personal life, is more than the number of messages I send to humans. And also the messages I send to humans are often a ChatGPT link or Gemini link, saying like, could you read this? At the end of the conversation history, there's a TLDR for you. You can read that. If you are not happy with that, read the whole history, or you ask the GPT or Gemini to summarize the conversation history, whatever you want. So I just only send a link. So basically, okay, what I'm saying is that this is a lot of like testing yourself. I think it's probably even more than the benchmarks has. So I have probably at least 15 questions every day to test AI. And if you think about for 3 months how many questions, most of the benchmarks only have 500 questions. So you get a lot of very hands-on information. And I think I know some of the bottlenecks for e-commerce probably, just because I try myself buying Amazon products with AI so much.
What about you both? How do you use AI in your daily life?
Yeah, I would say that I'm also really heavy AI user. In particular, these days, I'm making slides, writing documents, thinking about the creative ideas, conducting research. AI is really indeed very incredible, because it's very hard to imagine any person with very vast amount of knowledge, but also understand your context really well. Basically, in the past, you need to talk to so many experts and take so much time to tell them what your context is. But now AI is able to connect the dots between all these different fields. I do feel that has so significantly increased my productivity and actually helped me come up with really creative ideas, help solve the research problems.
Doug?
Sure. So I used to code a lot. I don't code as much anymore. It's just my job has shifted. And so I ignored vibe coding for a little while, and I got to jump into it after the quality had gotten so good that it's mind-blowing. And of course, everybody in the room here is doing this, but it really blew my mind to take some stuff from my dissertation, a domain I know really well and a narrow domain, and then start building an app to show some of the results. And then I said, okay, it's here. I just find it becoming more and more scaffolding for my life in the smallest ways, and it's the small ones that matter. Just getting used to having email summaries, just getting used to having summarizations of docs, just getting used to all of this. I'm sure it's going to be very different for Gen Alpha, but even for me, it's been really life-changing. But I'm certainly a relative late adopter, given someone in my field. I'm one of those people you have to say, wait, I should trust the AI, do this, right?
Got it.
But just clarify, I don't really necessarily trust AI. But I use it.
Just use it, right?
I use it, but not trusting it. But
you're testing it.
Right.
Yeah, and testing. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, Jiantao, when you think of the value proposition, which industries do you think the most disruption is going to happen? Is it media entertainment? Is it healthcare? Is it education, tech? You know, where do you see the biggest disruption?
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating question. I think now we work in tech, and we also educators. My feeling is that technology as a field, in particular engineering, programming, really fits perfectly into the capability of AI. In particular, we have so many signals to be fed back to AI, to teach the AI how to improve itself. In the coding, the environment is so clean. When there's a bug, very clearly AI will know it. There's no way to get around it. So very clear the way we develop new products in technology is going to be completely transformed. From another point of view, in terms of education, which we all also know very well, these days it's just super hard to imagine somehow a student can learn without really tapping into the vast amount of knowledge AI has. And AI is actually also be able to provide personalized tutoring for students. In particular, it really drives us to think about later how do we even evaluate students, how do we design a curriculum. These are really fascinating questions to me. And I actually firmly believe that the way we engage the next generation and the way the next generation learns new knowledge, and they also learn how to interact with the whole world, would be dramatically changed over the next few years.
Doug, do you have a conflicting point of view there, or do you agree?
I think I agree on this one. I want it to be spicy, but
please.
Please. The audience loves spicy.
Spicy is always good.
I think it's ubiquitous. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Doug, you know, if a 22-year-old future AI leader sitting here watching this, what advice would you give them? What should they be focusing on? And more importantly, what should they not?
Yeah. Oy, what a great question. So you're 22? So the first thing I would do is look back.
Or maybe 18, who knows?
Maybe 18. I think I would look back at people even younger. So weirdly enough, look at like the 14 and 15-year-olds and what they're doing. Why? Because that generation is always the generation that takes a new technology and transforms it. So I've raised kids. The kids that grow up with mobile phones when they're 10 and 12, they take it for granted, and they take all that it can do for granted, and then they build on top of it. Same thing was true for the internet. That was my generation, was to like figure out the internet. And so you're going to have these kids figuring out this technology. And by that, not understanding how it's built, but understanding what it's good for. And so the first thing I would do is really listen and really watch how people are absorbing this technology. The second thing that I would do is really try to understand in some intuitive way what AI isn't, or put differently, what we've really achieved here. Of course, we've achieved a lot, and we're only doing more and more. But fundamentally, the breakthrough technology, transformer, right? Attention is all you need. That was at least one of the big building blocks, and then there's the hardware story around that as well too, with GPUs and TPUs. But fundamentally, what was transformer for? Everybody should be saying translation. It was built for machine translation. It was built to and the metrics on the transformer paper were looking at German to English and back. And if you squint a little and you like analogies like me, a lot of what we're doing with this technology is translating. But we're not translating human languages. We're translating from domain to domain. We're intaking a bunch of tokens that come from a camera, and we're outputting some tokens that then get turned into some actuators on a car. Or we're taking some tokens that are user intent, and we're generating some tokens that give us images or videos, right? Now, set aside there's also diffusion, so it's not always tokens. But like writ large, this is why we're so good at synthesizing information. That's a kind of translation task. A summary is a domain. A long document is a domain, and the model's learning to move back and forth. It's a bit long-winded, but for me, I try to understand like what's the real core of what we have now, which can unlock questions of what do we need, what are we lacking, and I think it also gives us kind of a high-level compass, you know, the first PCA component or the first eigenvector of like where the meat really is. Then from there, listening to people that are becoming AI natives, the Gen Alphas, and I think that gives you like an idea of kind of where you want to go. And finally, sorry, now I have a lot to say about what you all should do with your lives. You follow your passion. No one wins at this game if what you're doing is something you hate. Honestly, like I've followed my own gradient through music and rhythm cognition and recurrent neural networks. Like if you're going to succeed in this space, you've got to love what you're doing every single day and get up and be able to do it. It's a marathon. Otherwise, you're just going to find yourself in a hole. That's my advice to the 18 to 22-year-olds in the room.
Got it. So Tengyu, let's talk friction. We have a lot of technical leaders in this audience. Where do research breakthroughs often die when they meet the real world? And what do the best teams have to do differently for that, to prevent that?
Yeah, I think there's this product and research kind of like collaboration or kind of like a conflict, depending on the situation. So, so my feeling is that it depends on the speed or the curve of the research development. So oftentimes I see that when the research is kind of growing really, really fast, exponentially like this bell curve, then the research lead, because it's possible that, like, for example, let's take GPT as a case, right? So like sometimes, if you start to think about the product and the user experience too much in 2022, maybe you're going to miss out the wonderful capability of the models, because the models can do a lot of things, right? Like you don't have to even have those buttons. The models just solve the problem for you, right? But when the model's capability grows not as fast as before, it's starting to plateau, or maybe it's kind of when it's kind of getting into the dimension return regime, I think when we go back to the kind of old type of cases where like the product needs to drive to some degree, you have to understand the user's experiences, the user's like needs, the user profile, the differentiation, and then send those back to the research team, say, oh, how do we enable all of this? And that's, I think, for MongoDB, for the Voyage AI team, we are taking a relatively balanced approach, because on one side, we care about our customers. We know that you care about the products, so that's why we also have to care about your products. So we make sure this is like there's business values for the products. On the other hand, we also try to have innovative, exploratory, cutting-edge research which don't immediately deliver value, maybe deliver value only like in 1 year, 2 years, so that we have a branch on the cutting-edge research side.
Excellent. So that balance is super critical. So let me open up to the audience. Last few minutes. Any questions for this esteemed panel here? No one? Well, thank you all for taking the time. I know we could all have been at other places, so appreciate you all taking the time, and thank you to the three of you as well for spending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.